Good evening, everybody. This is Huge Pop for the Huge Pop Entertainment. Below me is my buddy Bill Struthers, and we have our guest tonight, who is the true pioneer of women's wrestling. She was a two-time NWA Tag Team Champion and WWE's Tag Team Champion. Welcome to the show, Princess Victoria. How are you tonight? I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, and I'm absolutely fantastic.
I hope I didn't butcher that name. I hope I didn't butcher the I think I got it right. But welcome to the show. I'm glad that you're on the show. I'm really intrigued after watching Dark Side of the Ring to hear your stories of everything wrestling that you did. So, but let's start at the beginning, like I told you off camera. What I really am intrigued when I have legends on the show, what it was like for them as a fan of the business before they got into the business.
Oh, I started watching wrestling when I was five years old or younger, because I'd stay with my grandmother and grandfather a lot, and we ate at the dining room table every night except for Saturday night. Then we ate in the living room because wrestling was on.
Okay.
And that got me hooked. And then we went to visit a cousin of my grandmother's in, I believe, Vancouver, Washington. And at this time they had a double show. They had the roller derby girls, and after they finished, there was a wrestling match.
Okay.
Which that's where I got my taste for roller derby too. I wanted to do that till I sat there at ringside and saw them getting their butts kicked.
Yeah.
And I really had no interest. I mean, I'd never even thought about it. It wasn't that I didn't have any interest. I just never thought of becoming a professional wrestler, being a fan.
Right.
And I was working for Sandy Barr at the Chautauqua Sports Arena in Portland. And he come up to me one day. He said, I run a wrestling school. I said, no. He said, well, I do, and I've got this girl who wants to train, but I can't have her wrestling all the guys. Can you come and be a body for her to train with? And like every true wrestler behind me, I said, well, how much does it pay?
Right.
And I start showing up during training times, and at that time, Sandy was an old school trainer. It wasn't that you paid $25 and you trained once a week. Sandy never charged me or Velvet for training. And we trained 6 days a week, in the morning and the afternoon.
Wow.
But anyway, I'm there and I'm a body for this girl. And then she didn't show up one night. And Sandy had me doing something, push-ups or something to work out. And then the next night I came and she didn't show up again. He says, well, you might as well get in here and finish your training.
Oh.
And it didn't occur to me until about a month later that, wait a minute, Sandy wanted me to be a body for this girl because he didn't want the girl wrestling the guys, yet here I am and I'm wrestling the guys.
Wow.
So I literally got tricked into becoming a professional wrestler.
See? You get invited to there you go.
Yeah, well, it was inevitable, I loved wrestling. A lot of the guys, at that time, I started going to the matches live at the Chautauqua Sports Arena probably when I was 15.
Mm.
And then I went to work for Sandy, and I became little sister
Okay.
by all the guys.
Okay.
And you didn't mess with little sister.
Absolutely not.
And I mean, I came up in a time I was so blessed. I mean, there was Roddy Piper, Buddy Rose, Ed Wiskowski, Luke and Butch, the Sheep Herders, Stan Stasiak, Rip Oliver. You
Mm.
know, I couldn't have come up with a better group of guys, and they were all there to help me learn. Sandy had, when I finally said, all right, I guess I'm going to be a professional wrestler, Sandy used to have at least one of the guys 1 day a week come down and train with us.
Okay.
And his reasoning was, even though Velvet and I were both trained by him, nobody wrestles the same,
Okay.
including me and Velvet. And he wanted us to get used to wrestling with different people
Okay.
and and adjusting to their style of wrestling.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Sandy was Sandy was my adopted dad.
Okay.
Um, and like I said, I was little sister, and I have heard so many stories about some of these girls having a hard time on the road with the guys. I had maybe one or two guys that were, are we PG-13?
No, go ahead.
They were asses.
Okay. All right. All right. I can imagine.
And one of them was Matt Bourne.
Okay.
And he was that little guy on the playground that was pulling your pigtails because he liked you, and it was
Yes.
the only way he could get your attention. Well, that was Matt. And one day, Matt, and this is a little gross, so if there's kids listening, cover their ears. Um, he pulled my underwear out of my bag and he held them up. He said, "Look, the bitch can't even wipe her ass good." And I went, "Matt, that's blood." And he dropped them. I mean, faster than faster than uh oh, the bird, Wile E. Coyote, and the bird,
Roadrunner.
and Roadrunner. That's it. And the next, I think it was the next Thursday, we were in Eugene, Oregon, where Elton was running the territory for his brother.
Right.
And I walked in the dressing room, and one thing Sandy instilled on me and Velvet and anybody else he trained: if an old timer starts talking, you shut up, you close your mouth, and you open your ears, and you do exactly what you're told. And I'd known Tony. Tony was perfect gentleman. He used to guard the bathroom because he knew that Matt was going to try to sneak in. He was like this little boy.
Wow.
And we were in Eugene, and had my gear on, and Tony says, "Come here, princess." And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I want you to sit on my lap, and I want you to put your arm around my neck, and I want you to go with whatever I do." And since Tony was a gentleman, I knew him as, a gentleman, and an old timer. I got on his lap, I had my arm around the neck, and all of a sudden he laid a lip lock on me from hell. I mean, bent over backwards. And he had said to go for it, go with whatever he did, so I did. And all of a sudden in the background you hear clunk. Oh hell blank no. And Tony sat me up, kept me on his lap, my arm around his neck, and it was his son, Matt Bourne.
Oh no.
And Tony looked at Matt Bourne and he said, "Do not disrespect my wife, your new stepmother."
Oh shit.
For a solid week, me and Tony ate together, rode together. We shared the same motel room. There were two beds, but nobody knew that but us.
Wow.
And for an entire week, Matt Bourne thought I was his new stepmama.
That's
For,
awesome.
for some reason, he didn't bother me again.
That's a great story. That's awesome, man. Thank
Oh,
you for
that's one I'll take to my grave.
that.
That was fun.
That's awesome. Hey, Bill, you got anything? I can't hear you.
I can't hear you, dear.
Yep.
There you go.
Try to
Nope.
get nope. Still silent.
Can't hear you.
Nope.
Are we back now?
You're up.
You
Back.
we're back.
All right.
Yeah, you
Okay.
had to hold your mouth just right, right?
Apparently. You mentioned Velvet McIntyre. How was it tag teaming with her all them years?
Well, Velvet and I wrestled each other for the first year, but
Okay.
we were on the road. Pretty much the 4 years that I was in the business. Velvet and I were on the road together, either as opponents or as a tag team. And Velvet Velvet is one. The girl needs a halo. She's got the biggest heart, and she was in a car with me, almost 3/4 of 4 years, and we never had an argument.
Wow.
And I can start an argument just walking in a room, but Velvet and I never had a problem, and we we were we took care of each other on the road.
Mhm.
Um, and that's one person. I had dropped out of sight for 40 years after what Mula did to me, and that's one person who kept in contact with me the entire time until I stepped back into. You might as well say I stepped back into the ring. I haven't wrestled, but I stepped back into the wrestling uh, family in 2013,
Okay.
Okay.
and Jimmy Garvin. Now I didn't have my not my name tag or anything else on, and it was at the Gulf Coast reunion.
Okay.
And I was signing up, getting ready to get my name tag, and J- Jimmy walks around behind me, and when I turn around, he said, "Where the hell have you been?" I said, "Oh, I went into hiding for a little while." He said, "If you try it again, we're sending the dogs out." Now, this is 40 years later and 40 pounds heavier, and Jimmy recognized me.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I had some great friends in the business. The
Of course.
guys,
Yeah.
I mean, even when I got on the road, if one of the guys I came up with was not in the town, somebody they knew was. And if I was leading the pack, the ladies, they made sure we knew which motel to go to, what's the best way to get to the venue, where to eat. Because, I mean, they literally took care of us.
Right.
And like I said, I've had a couple of problems. Matt Bourne was one. And there's another gentleman, I'm not going to mention his name because from what I can tell, he's grown up a lot. We were at a convention center and they called my name, and Bill Watts told him, take Princess out to the ring. Well, this convention center was like a maze, short hallways with dead ends. I mean, it was literally like a maze. And they called my name. We walked out the door, and this gentleman uh, keeps going. They called my name a second time, and he's still going. And then, about the time they called my name for the third time, he stepped in a room, opened up the double doors, and dropped his trunks. And I looked at him and I said, "I'm going to tell you what, I may not be able to whoop your ass, but you're going to know I was there." Usually, if you're late, if you get a third call, you're fired,
Mm.
at least in my day.
Mhm.
Right.
And I went back to the dressing room, and uh, Magnum TA, Terry Allen, and I have been good friends. We met in Portland as well. And he looks at me and goes like this. And I told him what happened. I never saw that person again for the next 2 weeks that I was there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I was well taken care of.
Say they take. Yeah. I mean, that's what I hear. We've interviewed many legends or people back in the 70s and 80s that would tell stories that there's so much more brotherhood back then than there is today.
Mhm.
Oh, these kids today, they don't know what they're missing. Even if you had if you had heat with a wrestler, with another wrestler, if they called you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, I'm broke down at such a, told you where they were, you got up, you got dressed, and you went and got them. That's just the way it is. We were all a big dysfunctional family.
Absolutely.
And what the kids are really missing, in my opinion, the best part of wrestling. And and it's sad to see. And there's a sentence that I don't like to hear, and I've heard it too much in the dressing room. They'll be sitting there talking over a match, and you'll hear, well, I got to get my this in, and I got to get my that in, and I got to get this in. They've forgotten. They're not wrestling for themselves. They're wrestling for those fans.
Mhm.
When I was in the business, when you walked out in the ring, you knew the first move, the high spot, and the finish. Whatever else came in according to the mood of the crowd. It's called psychology.
Mhm.
And a lot of these kids today don't have it.
Yep.
And I've actually seen a pair that did exactly what I said, talked it over, they're talking for 2 hours over a 15-minute match.
Right.
And one of them missed a spot, and they both stopped.
No.
I mean, they literally both stopped in the ring.
Gee.
And when when Velvet and I won the title, the tag team title in Madison Square Garden, if you look at it, I messed up the first move.
Mm.
But unless you got the eyes to know what you're looking for, you ain't gonna see it.
Right.
Mhm.
Because Wendy, she didn't stop, she didn't stagger, she went right back in. And that's the way we were trained. You don't let anything stop you. And there were times that watching the heel get the snot beat out of them was what the crowd wanted to see. And then there were other times they wanted to see me cry,
Right.
which, I mean, that's just it. And you didn't know what kind of crowd it was till you walked in the ring. So how can you plan your match?
Right.
Yeah. Wow. So now there's a lot of history that I've noticed from just doing some research. You were the first, you were the original tag team champion in
Velvet
WWF.
and I,
You and
yes,
Velvet. Yeah, that is amazing. You even received a award in 2018 at the Cauliflower Alley Club.
they inducted me into their Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
which
So
totally surprised me.
I'd like to hear your story, how that made you feel. What's that? That's got to be an achievement. Can I hear everything positive about Cauliflower Alley Club?
Oh yes, I've went the last 2 years, and I've went one time before since 2018, and I've made a deal with some friends who live in Vegas. I now have to come to CAC, but I have to come 3 days early so I can spend 3 days with them.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But when they inducted me, I was in shock. And if you've seen the tape, I ended up crying during my acceptance speech because it was the last thing that I ever expected. And once you get hooked onto wrestling, or at least in my case, once you've been there, it's really hard not to go there again.
Yeah.
And I've missed a lot of people, and a lot of people have passed away in that 40 years, and I wish I had never left like I did.
And and about the Cauliflower Alley Club, in case people don't know that are watching or will watch, Cauliflower Alley Club, from what I understand, is a organization that is created to help out the legends of the business
Hmm.
with their medical bills, with whatever they need. Because let's face it, you guys performed your asses off for us as fans. You guys performed your asses off, and we need to give back. And if this is
Exactly.
so Cauliflower Alley Club is one of the ways to give back. If I'm right.
I agree 100% on that. Cauliflower Alley Club helps a lot of people, not just legends. They also do help the up and coming.
Okay.
Um, they've they've helped out Wendy Richter when her house burnt down here recently.
Okay.
They helped they helped Kim Whitlock, who is Sabrina Whitlock's daughter.
Okay.
They helped her with the funeral
Oh,
price,
Wow.
and that one hit me right square in the eyes because her name was Sabrina, wrestling's Wonder Girl. I know her as Doris.
Okay.
Doris, she never let any of us know that she had cancer. She never said a word. And then one day, I can't remember who it was that called me, but they called me and told me she was in the hospital. And then uh, her daughter-in-law told me, well, she's not going to make it through the night. You can. I said, well, should I announce this on Facebook? And she said, yeah, go ahead. Well, the next morning, I get a phone call from Kim on Doris's phone. And I'm going, wait a minute, Doris is gone. Doris is calling me, but Doris is gone. And I hear in the background, Vicky, damn it, I'm not dead yet. Oh, she was she was one of my favorites. She was such a good lady. A big heart. But she was like a lot of us. Don't piss us off. I had one guy who pulled a rib on me, and Rip Oliver put me on his shoulders so I could super glue the guy's boots to the ceiling.
well,
I've heard some many rib stories. I can't wait. I can't wait till later on in the show for you to share some. But I've heard that you guys were not nice.
no.
You were
Well,
not nice to each other. You loved each other so much that when you ribbed, that was.
But it's called a receipt.
hmm
It's called a
If
receipt.
hmm
you get if you give me a potato, you're gonna get one right back.
Yep.
And uh was it what is his name? Davy Boy Smith.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's known for some really bad ribs.
hmm
And I mean bad.
He's the
Not
one that. Yeah. We
shat.
heard.
He's
Yeah.
Yeah. He pooped in one of the boys' bags.
I heard a
And
Davy. Yeah. I heard a Davy Boy
he
Smith story. It was he took 20 cc's of urine and put it in Big Bad Vader's boot or toothpaste, or no,
hmm
not Vader's toothpaste.
Now
What
it's
was it?
Vader's.
Yeah, Vader's toothpaste tube, and Vader brushed his teeth with that tooth- toothpaste full of urine, and I was like, no way.
Oh yeah. Well, there was one of the other girls I was told about. I can't remember her name right now, but she went out drinking with the boys. Well, she had a little bit of an attitude. So every time she went to the bathroom, they'd take the beer into the bathroom and they'd pee in the beer. And this dipwad kept drinking it, no matter how bad it
Oh,
tasted, because she was
God.
trying to make a statement about she was just as bad as the rest of the boys.
Mm.
You know, I'm sorry, but I know the smell of urine. I've had many dogs, and my son, I had to change his diapers. I would have thrown it on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I would not, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't want part of this.
Mm-mm. No.
No.
Vancouver All Star,
Al Tonko,
El Tomco. How was that?
yeah, awesome. Other than Al didn't know how to book a territory. There, I mean, there were days that we were on a ferry for 6 hours. There was another, we were leaving one match, going to another, and they call it the Hope Slide. It's where the side of the mountain came down and killed everybody in the town. Well, it was a dirt road, single car width. And lucky us that night, the fog came in just as thick as pea soup. And I ended up with Ed Moretti on the driver's side of the car. Terry Adonis and Rocky Delicero were in the front of the car, trying to get through this and not go off the cliff because it was a mile straight down. And if you know anything about Ed Moretti, Ed limps. He's got a limp. He's had it as long as I've known him. And Velvet and I are in the car, and I look over and I scream because Ed's not there anymore. We thought he had dropped. We thought he went down the side of the mountain, but luckily he had just tripped and fallen on his face.
Nice, nice, nice. So you
But
held. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but we had such a good crew without Al Tomko. We had Terry Adonis. We had Ed Moretti. We had Rip Oliver would make Rip Oliver would make a trip up there. You know, Portland and Tomko were sharing workers, and but the only thing that I can say bad about it is Al didn't know how to book a town. If the town was less than 250 miles away, we did a jig. We knew somehow he had to have making a mistake.
Yeah. So you held NWA and WWF. Are there? Would you? I don't want. I don't. What was the better promotion for you?
I hold two of them at the same level. That's Bill Watts and Don Owens. They both took very good care of their wrestlers.
Okay.
Not only in paydays, but I had broken my collarbone in Tomko's territory and out in all what was it, All Star Wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent me home. You don't need to be here. I can't work you. Well, when I got back and Sandy found out I was home, I got a call. I had stayed at my mother's, my biological mother's, and I got a call from Sandy. He says, "You got," and I can't remember where I was supposed to go. I think it was Eugene. It seems like everything was centered around Eugene. And he said, "This is what you're going to do." And that's when this was right at the end of Buddy Rose and Roddy Piper's infamous feud.
Mm-hmm.
And they put me in the 8-man battle royal, over the top battle royal. And they kept me there just doing interviews and all for 2 weeks until I healed, reasonably. And that's that. And Bill Watts is the same way. I had it was me and Lenny Poffo did a mixed tag match with Buddy Landell and Wendy Richter.
Okay.
And he gave me the finish was Wendy dropped down. I hit the rope. I went over, and Buddy hit me with the face, front forearm. Well, I had my neck my head sitting in such a way. He didn't hurt me, but it lifted up my neck, and I got a nerve trapped in between the second and third vertebrae. And, you know, when you're wrestling, and a lot of times I'm sure it happens in other sports, you're going, it'll fix itself. Well, I was in the bathroom at one of the matches in Louisiana, and Terry came in, and I was crying because my right side of my face had started to droop because that was what happened. The right side of my face was paralyzed. And he said, "What's wrong?" And I told him, I said, "Look." And he just walked out. The next morning, I got a call from Bill Watts. I was in my room. It's in the morning. Bill Watts, the phone rings. I answer it. He said, "This is Bill Watts." He said, "Princess, you've got an appointment with such and such a doctor at such and such an address at such and such a time. If you don't make that appointment, don't come to the matches." I never saw a bill for that. And for a promoter to be willing, to put out money
Right.
like that back in my day, that was something.
Right.
And sure enough, this is in the old days when they had that bag of water that you put over the top of the door and you sat there real straight, and it actually the nerve came out, so it was all good. But that's the way Don Owens and Bill Watts treated everybody.
You talk about respect, and I'm going to take a second. I got 6 people in the chat watching, and there's probably more over on other channels. But if you're going to come in our chat, and we're going to respect the Princess Victoria for what the story she's sharing, we're not going to listen to disrespectful comments. So I'm just tell you guys that if you're going to disrespect my guests, you can get off my channel. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to have people disrespect people. So that's not what we do here at Huge Pop Entertainment. Okay, so sorry about that, but that had to be said.
No problem. I appreciate it.
So anyway, so where was I at? Bill, go ahead.
All right. So the NWA with Bill Watts, you were NWA U.S. Women's Champion, twice, correct?
Twice I was tag team champions, and once, and for the life of me, I can't remember what town I was the NWA Women's Champion. But I was the NWA, half of the NWA tag team champions with Sabrina, and we took the titles. And then Wendy and Joyce got them back. And then we wrestled them in Madison Square Garden, and me and Velvet, and we won the titles then. And it was just working beside Velvet or working against Velvet. She was such a fantastic wrestler. I mean, I not only did I come up in the Pacific Northwest during a great time, but I also, even though nobody wanted me to go to Moolah's, I didn't know why, they wouldn't tell me. When I got down there, I was there with the likes of Judy Martin, Joyce Grable, Wendy Richter, Sabrina, Leilani Kai. I was with those people down there, and those are the top women, as far as I'm concerned, that were in the business at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you around with Wendy? You mentioned Wendy Richter, Leilani Kai. Were you around the time where Mr. T, Hogan, what's his name, Captain Lou Albano did the rock and roll, that MTV stuff? Was that after you?
That was after me. It was starting the night that I broke my neck, I believe, is the first night that Cyndi Lauper came out with Wendy Richter.
Okay.
I didn't get to see it because I was in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. But Yeah, from what I understand, Velvet and I were supposed to be in the first, what do they call it? WrestleCade.
Yeah.
Was it
WrestleMania.
Yep.
WrestleMania? We were supposed to be there, but I had broken my neck.
Okay.
So, everything comes in its time.
Now, did you get a chance to be around Hulk Hogan in his prime, in his early years?
You're gonna make me speak bad of the dead. I
I yeah, I'm just asking.
That
it's
is fair.
okay. It's okay. He's probably laughing up there with the rest of the boys. Um, yes, I knew Terry when Terry was just Terry Hogan,
Okay.
and I think it was Brutus Beefcake who came in as his brother.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I mean, everybody knew me up there. I spoke to Terry several times. You know, been on the road. With the same guys, and we were up in Madison Square Garden for the first time, and here comes Terry and his wife. And I said, "Hey, Terry, how you doing, brother?" And if it'd been raining, that boy would have drowned because his nose was so far up in the air. And sometimes, sometimes, as my husband used to say, because it goes across your mind, don't mean it needs to come out your mouth. And a little bit of hell flew up in me, and I turned around and I hollered about 20 feet away. I said, "Prima donna much, Terry?" And I mean loud. Piper was sitting on a bench getting ready to go do an interview. He literally ended up on the floor laughing his butt off.
Nice, nice.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
God.
After that, I didn't really try to talk to Terry.
Okay. Okay. All right, Bill, you're next.
The fabulous Moolah.
Oh,
How was
Miss
that?
the oh,
I'm okay. So when I did some research and this and
yep.
her name came across, and kept on reading. I mean, me growing up as a kid, okay, fabulous. Mula was there, Richter. All those. I mean, I did not realize what you're going to tell us about Mula. I did not realize. So I'll let you have the floor.
Well, what I do is I have had to set my mind that I have to look at Moolah two different ways.
Okay.
There's Moolah the wrestler, who was back in '49. She came up hard. She paved the way for me and many girls like me. And I have to respect that person. But Lillian Ellison, the booker, I have no respect for that person at all. She stole from us. She tried to manipulate us. Um, for God's sake, she had 4 room houses where each girl was paying $300 a month, be it one girl or 4 girls in there. Now she's getting $1,200 a month in the '80s, and then there was when Judy found out. Uh, her and Leilani were the glamour girls, and Judy had walked up to the office, and I'm not going to mention the gentleman's name, but she asked him. She said, "I'd like to see some of my old checks." Well, see, we kept a book, all of us. What town? How many miles? Because like when I'm driving my car, whoever's riding with me, 5 cents a mile. You know, Velvet went into even more into it. She even wrote who she wrestled and who won or lost. But anyway, uh, excuse me. Judy had asked for some old checks. This was back in the day where you got the copies of your check back. And she realized that Moolah was taking 50% off the top or approximately that, and then giving us the other 50% and taking an additional 25% booking fee on that. Because if we made $500, she told us we made $250. And she tried to manipulate us girls to where we would be at each other's throat. Her mind was divide and conquer. Well, we when we got in my car ready to go to a town, well, what Moose say to you that I did? And that was the topic of conversation for the first hour of the road, because
Wow.
that's how we found out Moo was talking. She almost got me and Joyce Grable in a fight.
Really?
Well, she told me that Joyce said when I moved out I had stolen her towels. And I don't think Moolah expected this, but I stood up. I said, I'll be right back. And I went up on the hill and I called Joyce out because I'm not a liar and I'm not a thief. It didn't come down to fighting, and I have to give Joyce credit. Even though we had heat outside the ring, she was 100% a professional in the ring. You didn't take outside crap into the ring. And that was just one instance. There were other instances that Judy could tell you about and Velvet could tell you about. But she just did her best. She could do it. Okay, here's one of the best ones she did for me. Christmas time, Lillian's living room. She's handing everybody a present. Well, everybody gets these $20, $25 presents, right? When I open mine, it's a professionally beaded, you've seen the brown outfit with the beads on it?
Yeah.
That's what she gave me for a Christmas present.
That's awesome.
And the only reason she did that was to pit the girls against each other. There was no need to do that.
Right. I mean, what a cool present, but like you said.
Right. I love the present. I wore it up until she took it from me when I left the property. It was very well made. I couldn't ask for any better, but she could have waited till later. Had a $5, $10 present there for me to open with the girls, and then later call me off to the side.
So you can say you can't answer this question. I'm not naming any names, but back in your day in the WWF, were the girls, the women in the business, were they looked down upon? Were they degraded? Was it all about the men, and then was that how that was?
I never experienced that.
Okay.
I think I had heard that the Iron Sheik didn't think women belong in the business.
Okay.
There's a couple other people that Dutch Mantel is one that didn't believe women were in the business, and he proved it to me because he was on my page, and on one of his podcasts, somebody asked him, "Well, what do you think women's wrestling has brought to wrestling?" And he said, "Nothing. They don't count."
Wow, that's a shame. Because I'm just gonna be honest with you. The women in the business today, and the Charlotte Flairs, the AJ Lee, the Becky Lynches, all those guys, all those women, they talk a lot highly about you ladies back in the day, and that you paved the way for them, and you guys created what they have, and that's finally now they're able to get, now they're doing exactly what you guys did back in the day, and I love seeing that because
Yes. Well, I quit watching wrestling in 1987. When I saw the schoolgirl outfits that Moo and oh shoot, what's her name? What was Moolah's partner? Mae Young
Mae
were
Young, yeah.
wearing,
Yes.
and how
Yes.
the finish was that they'd sit on the girl's face, their opponent's face, and it was to imply that their nether regions stunk so bad it knocked the girls out.
I had a,
And
yeah.
and nothing against nothing against Moolah or May. They were doing, they loved wrestling. They were doing what they could. They were doing what they were allowed to do. And I'm sure that that gimmick came straight from the top, from Russo. But that was not something I ever would have wanted to see, you know. And I quit watching wrestling up until the last 2 years because somebody told me, Vicky, you need to turn on WWE. Why? Rhea Ripley. She is nothing like any of the other girls. She's got her own gimmick, her own outfit, and she's one hell of a wrestler. I love her. I can't wait until I get to meet her because I'm gonna be she's turned me into a mark again.
There you go. There you go. We're all marked, right?
Oh,
That's right.
well, I was a friend of mine opened up a wrestling promotion in Portland, and I went to his first match, his first set of matches. Unlike wrestlers slash promoters who have done it the same throughout the years, he did not put the belt on himself. He did not put himself as the main event. He wrestled the first match. They went 10 minutes. The time limit was 10 minutes. They went 10 minutes to the draw. And when they caught my attention is when he slung the guy into the turnbuckle, and the guy hit the turnbuckle so hard, the ring slid 6 inches.
Wow.
And then he had my attention, big time.
Yeah.
And after 10 minutes of a strictly technical match, no heel, no baby face, no choking, nothing, straight technical match, they came to a draw. And I was there to see this. Nobody told me about it. I saw this with my own eyes. The crowd, number one, he had a sellout crowd his first night in promotion. That hardly ever happens. And number two, when they came to a finish and it was a draw, for 5 minutes or more, everybody in that gymnasium stood up and chanted 10 minutes more.
Wow.
And that's the kind of promotions I want to see. People are not listening to their fans, and I blame it on the promoters.
Okay.
If on my page, I let my fans on my personal page and my fan page. Because if they get nasty with me on my personal page, there's this little thing called block.
Right. Yep. 100%.
But I sat there glued to that match, and if you can turn me into a mark at my age, you've done something.
Here you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Bill?
So Vicky was talking to me earlier. She's got something coming out soon she wanted to talk about.
I'm working on another book.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you when it's going to come out. I'm not going to tell you what it's about or who it is, but I'm working on a new book, and this is going to be my life beginning to end, beginning as a child, going through wrestling, and all the way to the end, and it has been heavily researched.
Nice.
The man who's writing my book has an aunt, Aunt Sue, and I don't want to ever have to hide from this woman.
Okay.
She has found things out about my family that I had no clue about.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's
if
gonna be it. Every time he calls me on the phone, I said, "What'd you find out now?"
so is that a prequel? Is that a second book to follow up a tale of tears, triumphs, and turnbuckles?
Yeah, now this book is still for sale. It's like you said, Princess Victoria tile. Dad. Okay, try and say that three times fast. A tale of tears, triumphs, and turnbuckles. And John Cosper and I collaborated on that book. He did a wonderful job. I don't have anything but good to say about the man. He did everything he could. I just have somebody with more time who's willing to go into the archives. I mean, I found out things about my mother, my dad, all kinds of things. And at one point, I asked him, I says, "Well, when are you going to tell me I'm related to Bonnie and Clyde?"
There you go. I have two shoot questions, funny shoot questions. And
Okay.
I have one other thing I want to bring up. Other than that, then we can close the show. So my first shoot question. Now let's really, Bill, you can chime in on this one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
It is in my house because
Yeah.
I don't buy buns.
Okay.
Yeah, I use the bread I got. So yes, a hot dog on
Yeah.
bread is a sandwich.
Okay. Now that
Mhm.
I pulled that from a like 3 years ago when I started the podcast. That was one of the questions I asked on the podcast. You know, I just don't want to always talk about wrestling, right? But here's
Well, in
one:
some okay,
chair shot or stepping on Legos. What would you rather have?
I'd rather have a chair shot.
I think. I think.
I'd rather have a chair shot. I have stepped on. I have a son who is 33 now, and I have stepped on Legos and army men.
Yes.
I'd rather be hit in the head with a chair.
There you go. There you go.
Sure.
And I know, we're talking to Princess Victoria about her wrestling career, talked about some things with Moolah, talked about the book, but you've got to tell me about this. We got this
Ah, hang on.
Oh,
and
really?
this.
Um, all
And
right. This I made this myself. This is real buffalo bone and turquoise. And
Mhm.
I sell these for $35 plus 750 shipping. This is another one I made. Now the eagle is made out of buffalo bone, hand carved out of buffalo bone. And of course we've got more buffalo bone, glass, tiger eye, and turquoise in the necklace. And then this is something I just started this year. These are snowflakes,
that is cool.
and you can hang them on your tree or hang them in the window or whatever. And if anybody wants to get to see it, if they want one, hang on. What I do with them? Ah, here we go. They can contact me at www.facebook.com Viki.Otis7. Um, that is my Facebook page. Also, I don't just make jewelry outright. I take specialty orders. I will make it with the colors and what you want. And it keeps me out of trouble, which is a hard job where I'm concerned.
It's amazing to me that okay, so I'm going to speak to the fans real quick. We talked about Cauliflower Alley Club. the purpose of that, and that's to help the legends and the youngsters coming through whatever they're dealing with. But this young lady, Princess Victoria, is doing stuff on her own. She's writing books. She's making necklaces and all kinds of stuff. If you can't do one thing, do this. Check her out on Facebook. Check her stuff out. Help. I mean, she's just like us. She's not in the ring anymore, right, guys? She is doing something to survive, and I applaud you for that. I applaud you for not just depending on the wrestling. You went out of the box. You did what you have to do. You're doing what you have to do, and you can tell that you're paving the way. And I just want you to talk about these people.
Christy Sells, Sabrina, and Joyce.
That's your group, huh?
Well, that was my group. Two of those people have passed away. Joyce and Sabrina are gone. You know, and what's weird is both due to cancer. There's at least 4 girls that I know of that were on the hill that have either got cancer now or had cancer. Sabrina Doris Whitlock died from stomach cancer. Joyce Grable died from effects because of her leukemia. I won't mention, there's another girl that she had breast cancer. And then I've got another one that right now has melanoma on her face. And I think it's really strange that out of the 10 girls that I know that were there when I was there, 4 out of the 10 have cancer or had cancer. It makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. But
yeah,
it's got me worried. You look for things like sores that are not healing, so on and so forth, or growing larger. And I haven't done it yet. I need to go in for a check. But I recommend, especially anybody in my age group, and I'm 64, you need to go in at least once a year to get a cancer check and a colonoscopy. Because it's just, when you're talking 40% of the girls that I knew have had cancer in one form or another, that is incredible high percentages. So listen, you old men and you old women, go get checked.
Yeah. I do not want to leave this show without giving my boy Bill props. And Bill, I know you have something you showed quickly. Let's see that figure you made for Princess Victoria.
Oh, Miss Victoria's figure.
You did such a good job.
We got some
You did.
tassels, we got the skirt, we got the top, we got the head. But it's not done yet. We have one piece coming from Miss Victoria herself to go on this.
That's attention to detail, man. I applaud you so much. I applaud you for reaching out to these legends. You're one of a kind, man. I love the jewelry that Princess Victoria makes. I'm not sure if my wife would wear anything like that. I will show her your jewelry.
I can make something to order.
Okay.
You give me the colors. You tell me, do you want it chunky? Do you want it thin? Any of that I can do. I have made rosaries.
Okay.
I've made rosaries. I've made, oh shoot, where is it? I've got a necklace I wish I had brought over here, but I can do the delicate as well as the chunky. So just get with me and we'll collaborate and see if we can't get something for your wife.
Awesome. And I will keep in contact you through Facebook Messenger. Bill, it's been my pleasure to once again on a Wednesday to sit with you and the guests that we come up with. Huge pop. announcements, nothing for next week. We're Christmas week. We're going to take the week off, be with our families. So I love you guys at Huge Pop Entertainment. You guys that followed us, the people that were in the chat. If you're in the chat still, hit the follow button on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is how we get ladies like Princess Victoria on the show, our other guests that we get on the show. And it's fun for me. It's like I said, I don't know if I shared this, but it's like a self-care, nothing more than self-care for me. I get to sit away from the chaos of my life for an hour talking to people like you, Miss Princess Victoria. You probably do have an idea, but I am blessed to have the opportunity. I will say that.
I thank you guys for having me on. And I really enjoyed tonight.
Thank you guys.
Anytime if you want to have me back, I'll put it in pen on my calendar.
All right. So hey, don't go nowhere, Miss Princess Victoria. I'm gonna do a closeout song. I'll talk to you off camera. Okay. So guys, thank you. Welcome in going into the Christmas season, guys. Huge Pop Entertainment wants to wish everybody happy and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Stay safe. Love your family. You never know when they're going to be gone. So hug your family, stay safe, love on each other. And you always remember that, Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast, Huge Pop Entertainment, it's been many names. It's for life.